Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio for this? I, is that is that a little better? Okay, yeah. Well, hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is the 15th day of May, and it is a Monday. So, how's everybody doing? Um, this is kind of a funny Monday. Last week, if you missed last week, you missed having Daryl in the room every day. That was really, just all kinds of good information. And those were all recorded. I think they've been broken up into 15-minute segments, so you don't get so overwhelmed. I'm the first one to raise my hand in the overwhelm thing for 3 or 4 hours of that, but when you break them up into those segments, topics or whatever they are, Kelly says by topic, that's great. Because if you miss those are the most current things we've got from Daryl. And hopefully he will start being in the room a little bit more because he made an offer to everybody to be able to get mentoring and coaching by sharing your screen. So anyway, there's a technological factor in that, and they're working in the back room to get all that put together. So you'll be able to do that. I don't know when that'll start. Maybe tomorrow, but very soon. So anyway, here we all are on Monday, and we've had this kind of reminded me of today a lot of summer days. The early birds are the ones that caught the big worms this morning. Sometimes that's not the case, but usually in the summertime, what we see is really good trades early in the morning, very early in the morning in crude oil and gold, and then all the volume kind of dissipates after that. So it gets much tougher to find good trades. And this morning, the early birds were right there. And since then, it has really been chopping around a lot. Bonds today were just, this is untradeable. And the U.S. dollar as well, just chop, little bitty tight ranges. But for those of you who trade the Nadex, when you see the dollar and the euro like this, that's a good opportunity if you can get premium for some of those wonderful premium collection strategies, because it went nowhere this morning. The crude oil kind of it was on a good mission to go up this morning, but then that seems to be last night and early this morning off of a bunch of chitter and chatter from the OPEC boys that they really do want to get serious about cutting their production numbers. And so, of course, that drives the price up, which is their whole intent. But later on, I don't know how many of you watched the correlation between crude oil and the Canadian dollar, but the Canadian dollar had a real bad hair day this morning, kind of sucked that down. Another thing that is a little bit different about oil trades today, the spread between West Texas and Brent is almost $3, and that's a lot. I'm not sure why that is, but it is. If you are trading Nadex, you need to be on whatever contract Nadex tells you to be on, because that's where they're getting their indicative pricing is coming from that. And um, Kelly, on you mean on oil uh, and the Canadian dollar? It's they tend to track pretty much together. Certainly not tick by tick, but the overall trend is going to be pretty darn close. Crude oil is uh, the commodity currency that's tied mostly to crude oil. The Canadian dollar is. And no, the Brent versus crude, Brent tends to lead crude. It's uh, it's the oil mostly that comes out of the North Sea, and it's uh, the European market is the big market for that. So it tends to lead. It's a time thing also. So anyway, um, let's see. Oh, I wanted to point out to everybody our little friend over here, the VIX. This poor VIX, this is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. It's trading right now at 1048. There is just no volatility in these index markets. And when we see that thing go up, that's going to be a different story. So we want to. That's why we pay attention to this. And so those of you who trade the British pound, this afternoon at it'll be 3 o'clock our time, Mrs. May is going to be speaking, and it is very likely that the 6B and any of these pairs with the British pound in them might give you a trade. So if if that's if those are markets that you like to trade, then you might want to pay attention to that also. Then tomorrow morning we have lots and lots of uh, numbers coming from the UK real early, 4 o'clock, 4:30. Um, I think Gary is going to be. He's got the access to help people real early in the morning, because sometimes when there's a lot of news numbers like this, he's in quite early. So we want to definitely thank Gary. At 8:30 tomorrow morning, U.S. Building permits and housing starts. At 9:15, we've got a couple more numbers. And 10 o'clock tomorrow morning is not usually a big deal of these mortgage delinquencies, but traders, the big boys, are paying a lot more attention to these economic numbers than they have in the past. So we might want to stay alert uh, at 10 o'clock to see. And the reason I point this out is if it's just before 10 and you're thinking about putting on a trade in, I don't know, one of the indices or something, you might want to just exercise a little caution there if you take it with a real tight stop or something. So anyway, hopefully we've got Daryl back in the room sometime this week. Nobody can really predict when that might be, but that's always a treat for everybody when he does come in. So if you see that he's in here,